Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Spiritual Science Church here in Sweden. I will talk a little about what is happening, what is going on in the world, and in perspective to the Chinese Communist Party. When I learned the discipline of Falun Gong, Falun Dafa, in China in 1997, it was, in the summer, it was still allowed and you could move freely in China without problems. We made those exercises a bit like Tai Chi, but with a more serious purpose of developing your inner godly spirit, so to speak, and be a very true and human being, and human, yes, to be a good person. In ordinary words, we exercised, and I learned the exercise from the Chinese people, and we talked and we exercised in the park, and the policemen stood and looked at us, and everyone was friendly and waving, and no problem at all. I went back to Copenhagen and I continued with my Falun Gong exercises, which was fantastic. I quit smoking, and I quit taking narcotics like smoking, joints and so on. Totally quit it. It was so easy because of this help from the exercises. Then I was shocked. 2 years after, in 1999, suddenly everything was banned in China. All the practitioners were beaten heavily and they were arrested, and it was forbidden anything concerning Falun Gong. It was taboo and it was criminal. The Chinese Communist Party, who rules all China, as we know, if you don't know, I can tell you, they started this, they built up a whole department for persecution of Falun Gong practitioners. And it is not very nice to talk about their methods. It is severe torture and manipulation of the minds. They put them they put people in camps, re-education camps, like the Chinese have done with the Tibetan people and all the others they persecute. So they have a long history. Even their own people they treat as animals. And this fate came to all the, I think nearly 50 million people, or maybe 100 million, 50 million Chinese at least, who practiced those exercises of getting better and getting a better human being, a spiritual science. Like we have another spiritual science that we follow here. A Christian roots in the Christian thoughts of Jesus Christ. But it was very, very nice people I met, and they gave me the books and so on. I was shocked when I found out that they were persecuted, and since that time, it is now 21 years, they have been put to camps. They have forbidden to exercise. They have been tried the Communist Party have tried to re-educate them with severe torture, and many are killed and so on. And you don't imagine their methods of torture. I will not mention it here. You can see it on the internet if you can find the films still of gruesome torture. And yeah, it's terrible. And the Chinese even torture children. They have no respect for human lives. We are just animals to this system. And I can tell they sell organs in thousands. They sell organs, and for instance, a rich American can come and he can just order, I need a kidney, I need a heart, and in 1 week he can be there, and in a couple of days he will have offered the first kidney or heart. Oh, we have one. And that means that the Chinese go into the camp and they kill a young person, a prisoner, a criminal prisoner, or a Falun Gong practitioner who have not done anything else than being a good human person and is now in camp. They kill this person while still alive. They cut out the organ under. It's torture. It's dying of that. The person is dying, or maybe surviving, I don't know, a kidney. Cut it out, and if they take it hard, you don't survive. They cut it out and deliver it to the rich man from Western Europe or China, or where he comes from, maybe from the Communist Party. It can be any person who can pay the money. And if it does not fit, and it's not so good, 3 days after they say, oh, we have a new one for the same person, they go and cut out on a new practitioner or a new prisoner in their camps, because there's thousands, there's millions, there's lots of people they can choose among. And they cut it out, and a new person, young person perhaps, a child 15 years old or a man 19 years old dies, or an elder person, and so they practice. Yeah. This communist system from China is now ruling our world. This view on man as just slaughter animals, and animals you can treat like you like, just animals. We have no value. This way of viewing mankind, we that are gods, made in the image of God, one with God, the religion says, and who have all the qualities like the Lord, if we practice and if we become one with Christ and the good spirit in us, and we develop all that, we are seen like slaughter animals. And this is the Chinese Communist evil party. And when we saw last year in 2020, we saw pictures from China, and I've always on Facebook said, oh, beware of the Chinese system, they are treating people badly. I've shown the torture of the Tibetan children, the Tibetan women and men, torture of Falun Gong and all the Uruguays and all the people they prosecute and they punish and internate in camps in China. I warned and warned. And now we saw this Wuhan, where, by the way, they were putting up 5G masts. And 5G is a military weapon. And if you direct the wave, the beams in this mobile mast with the 5G technology, it can kill people, it can boost, and become a weapon. And the first pictures we saw it was not a normal it was not the normal collapse of a person you would expect. If I faint, I will faint this way, I think, and fall down like the 9/11 building, a demolition. I will go like that. But it was not like that. The person we saw on the pictures were like with a cannonball or a wave of big force was driving it. It flew 8 meters forward and then bang, bang, like that. This is not a normal collapse, and this is not dying of COVID or Corona. It couldn't be. It must have been a weapon. We saw this terrified in Europe, and we saw all the other things, the burning crematoriums and the smoke we saw on YouTube, and oh, they are burning millions and so on, so on. Maybe fake, because everything we saw was a play out, not only by the Chinese Communist evil party this time, but in arrangement, in agreement, in cooperation with all the globalists' world and their agenda, their evil communist agenda of treating every human as an animal, as one they can kill and exercise on, that they can treat like they want, and they can control and demand how we shall behave in their so-called civilized societies, which it is not anymore. So a dictatorship, a totalitarian dictatorship who not values life of animal or man or any being, not values it and controls it. And you know the social credit system in China. We have heard for that in several years, that if you think wrong and if you criticize the government, you have no social credit. And that means, because there's surveillance cameras everywhere, that you cannot buy, and you cannot come into this shop, and you cannot, because you criticize, and you can even not get a job if you have criticized and you don't like the dictator. And this system is now implanted in Europe, in America, all over the world, thanks to Vanguard, State Street, BlackRock, and the others. Who owns the world? BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. They own both Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola. They own Pfizer, Medical. I think they also own, why not Monsanto, and so on. It's the same evil spirits, globalists, that work with the communists and the dictators to make it all a dictator, a world on humanity. The Third World War, the total control of humanity, and killing or internating, putting in camps all that not agree to their tyrannical methods of mass vaccination, which can kill the person or get it sick for life. And this vaccination shall of course be every year until you die, so they can earn a lot of money, the same companies, and more than that, have the control. So now the future in a couple of years, or maybe very, very soon, it is here. They are just not putting the curtain up for all the technology they have ready. It is put up now. Face recognition, implants. They can now put vaccines in tomatoes and in other food, so they can both put nanotechnology that, like the microchip, but in smaller parts you will never discover, and they can vaccinate with their creepy stuff, killing people, chemical substances, and this messenger gene that totally destroys our immune system. and makes all the cells, all the blood pipes, what you call it, produce spikes that attack all cells. And you have bleeding, and you have organs not functioning. You have hundreds of symptoms or disasterful reactions on this, both on our normal medicine produced in Western world, which is killing people with all the side effects it have been for 100 years, and now the vaccines who are really destroyers of man. And so they want to control our children. They want to control grown-ups. They are censoring people. They cannot speak the truth. Scientists who says all this and in details are silenced. They were also silenced 20 years ago. They ended in lunatics, and they were killed even in America and so on, who asked questions about vaccines and so on. Judy Mikovits, you can go to her. She have written a book with foreword by Robert F. Kennedy, who works with all that children's health defense and so on, and she have told about that and AIDS, how Tony Fauci was involved in this AIDS epidemic, which is man-made, we guess, and you can look up the details, Judy Mikovits and so on, the plague of corruption in this pharmaceutical and medical world. And now it is exploded to this dictatorship. So this was what our propaganda in the press, in the media for several years, globalism. Globalism. Oh yes, Heil Hitler, globalism. This was the idea. This was the end result. You now see the dictator like Klaus Schwab from World Economic Forum. You will never get back to normal. He 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 he. You can never have it back. It's an illusion. Now we have the great reset. Build back better. And this silly, really silly motto, build back better. They are saying, everyone, Boris Johnson, you hear it like you heard before, a new world order from Bush and all the others, a new world order with 1,000 voices, and in the press it is now the politicians saying, build back better from this lunatic Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum. So they admit openly, and you can see from 10 years ago they write the manuscript like they did with the American Act on how can America be patriot, the Patriot Act from 20 years ago. How shall we do to be a superpower? We have to invade Iraq, Afghanistan, and so on, and make war there. And that's what they followed the manuscript when it happened. As in the same way, they got a manuscript for all we are experiencing now. It should have been in 2050, some days, as in 25 years, but they became greedy and impatient, and they so it came now. And the figures, they follow the figures. It suits them, so it's the right time. They follow astrology and black magic dates and so on, where they do their terror attacks. It's also done by our own intelligence services and so on, to keep up the fear. And this has been their agenda, the globalist agenda for past 20 years, to fill societies and people with fear, to control them. And now this is the great fear of the Great Reset. Making all fearful, making people fear each other. Children are not allowed to play, they keep distance, so they can never have girlfriends or anything. It's the most inhumane, evil society building that you could not imagine it. Even in 1984 by George Orwell or Aldous Huxley, it is worse than anything even science fiction could imagine, and more evil than the devil himself could invent, what they are doing to mankind. So Corona, which is only a little flu, and you have always flus, and you are always a cold, and when you have a running nose, it's a good sign. It's because your body are cleansing from bacteria. So that which is a natural process, cleansing and having a dripping nose, and a cough, which is the body's way of getting cure of a little infection. This is now criminalized as you are a monster when your immune system reacts natural and put out the cold and so on, dripping nose. But that is not it. There's no sickness, there's no pandemic. There's only a pandemic arranged to get us fearful and to make this great reset. So I think they even published a book, COVID and the Great Reset, by the World Economic Forum, and so on, so on. So this is the idea, to kill normally people's income, their business, their social life, their freedom of free speech, criticizing government and so on, to silence them, as we see now by censorship all over. And only one man is our hope, going against those forces of censorship, Google, Facebook, Bezos and Zuckerberg and what they call it is Donald Trump. The man they hated, they loved to hate, the only man who are going through against those evil forces of censorship. Yeah, there you can see. So this great reset, it is introducing this Chinese communist model of total control, total dictatorship by an elite who controls and rules over all the rest. And even go against the human rights and the Nuremberg Code that says it is not allowed the bodily integrity of man. It is not allowed to experiment with the human body, with other people, or to inject anything they don't say, yes, you can do it, they don't agree with. It is not allowed, it's a criminal act, it's a criminal act against humanity. Yeah, criminal behavior. And we know what will happen when you violate those human rights. It will be a Nuremberg trial where those people, I don't say we have to execute them, but they have to go to prison for the rest of their lives. That's normal common sense, of course. You cannot, but for years, politicians and banksters who stole our money in the finance crisis and so on, they've just stolen our money, they've just committed crimes, the medical industry and so on, without any reactions, without any punishment, without any consequences. They could do anything and they were protected. And they never tasted the consequence of their doings. But that people will in the end, and that's the law of karma. As you sow, so you shall reap, say the Lord in the Bible. And so it is. It's a cosmic law, it's a principle that no one can escape. And if you, as an evil person, do something evil to another man, an animal or a man or a living being, it will always return. This energy you send out, it will return in some time, maybe in your next life, first, or else in 2 years, or maybe instant, very soon, it will return this karma wave to the person who sent it out. This is a universal law. And that means that anything, any thought, any doing, which is not a good thought, will go out and it will benefit, and you will experience a good life, and good things will happen to you. Bad thoughts, evil doings, it can take maybe 2 lives, or it can take 10 years, or it can take two days. It will go out, and the energy will hit you with the same weapon you sent out. If you murdered a man, you will be killed. If you stole from a man, someone will steal from you. If you misused a child, if you were a pedophile and you sexually abused a child, you will experience a life where you are beaten and you are misused in the same manner you did to another of God's creatures. That's the law the globalists and those intoxicated with they think they are greater than God. That's the spirit they are intoxicated with, that they can do anything, that they are the lords of the universe, they can make science and nanotechnology, and Elon Musk can send out thousands of satellites who can control us, and Bill Gates can vaccinate all the African children who dies and get sick because they have no water and no food, and then he come with his death injection. And how can you survive that if you are low immune and you have no food and no water, and then you get an injection? Crazy man, maybe he thinks he's good, but he is doing harm. And those persons are controlling now our world. Those sick, not normal psychopaths. If you introduce your own psychopathy on all the world and let them live in a false reality of psychopathy, when we have now wearing this mask and everyone telling each other, they are living in a false reality created by media and the globalists and pharmaceutical and all the rest who are telling them those lies. They are living in a false reality, and this majority living like under Hitler, which was nothing compared to this. It was a child play, this Nazism, compared to the evil we are confronting with now. This false reality soon rules the majority, and people who speak up, they are, like in the history of man, they are burned or put to prison or getting rid of because you are enemy of society. This stupidity and so on. Those who try to help mankind and so we can survive, we will be prosecuted and maybe killed and so on. Read the Bible, the Johannes Revelation, where it all can be read. But the problem is, people didn't believe in God, they believed in materialism, in the politicians, in science and so on, and they forgot God. And now we see the consequence of forgetting to read the Bible and forgetting that God is still the greatest of man, or the greatest thing in the universe. Yes, and God is everywhere, and good, and God is love, and love is a universal law. And if you go against the godly laws of existence, which is love your neighbor, love your enemy, pray for all, and be a good human being, you are now a criminal. Yeah, and the end result is that, read the Bible. And there they talk about the mark of the beast. And this we have thought, what is the mark of the beast? Is it Is it the barcode? I thought for 30 years ago, the barcode on books, on things you buy, there's this barcode. Oh, it is a mark, it's everywhere. It can be the barcode. No, it is literally, it is totally, as it says in the Bible. They will implant it in your forehead. They are now scanning people with this COVID hoax. They're scanning them here. Or it will be on your right hand. And what is that? It suits very well with the implant of the microchip. They are putting in people, like they have been in dogs for a long time, so the owner can find the dog. Now they want to make us all dogs, so the globalist can find where we are. If we are enemy of the state, they can, oh, he's there. We should think it was enough with our mobile phones, which are trackers already, so they know everything already. So maybe it's not that, but the mark of the beast will be that. And maybe it can be in nanotechnology, you cannot see it, but they can track you, and they can, with the new AI science, they can even read your thoughts or what you say before you say it. As this 5G technology and all the rest, they are maybe in the vaccines too, when they put the system together with all those components, then they have the total control over man's behavior and his thoughts and his being and his DNA, and we will become sterile. Women will become sterile after this vaccination. They cannot produce normal children, so the state can go in and say, we only produce laboratory human being in labs where we can control them from the start, and the state can own them. They are so sick that you don't imagine it. Yeah, you are crying when you try to think of those things. That is their idea, and that is their agenda. Let's hope that many people will wake up and will not allow this to happen. And the good forces are there, and they are coming from the white brotherhood, from the higher civilizations, and from the godly world, and so on, the good spirits and the good beings. They are now helping us on this planet, because God will not allow that his creation is ruined and that man's genes, DNA, are altered or ruined. It have taken God millions of years to develop this planet, as God develops all other planets in the universe and make them rise from bad condition, as we are now in the earth, to a heavenly condition with peace on earth and love among men. And God will not allow that this evil agenda from the demonic forces shall conquer. It will not be allowed. And let's pray for that and stop it here. I could continue, but I think we have had some good information about what is happening in our world and what we shall be aware of. And don't fear, have no fear, because, as I said to my sister when she had cancer and had 2 months back to live, the doctor told her, I said, they can kill our body, but they can never kill our soul. And life is eternal, and we continue. So if someone will come and shoot a good man, this good man will come back, and he will make it even better, and he will pray for the man who killed him. So eventually even the evil ones will become good ones. So why not start here and stop this evil crime? You will have so bad karma. Those who follow this those orders of the dictatorship, they will have very, very bad karma. And they will continue in this evil spiral of existence for some period of time. Then, of course, it will be better. But why waste yourself and your children's life and good future perspectives? Why waste that on following orders of evil and false information and all we are experiencing now? Yes, thank you, my friends. God bless and have a nice day. And what is God? God is not a man up there. God is not a hierarchy of, oh, I'm God. No, God is in your heart. So it is. And the best in you is a part of God. And the bad things in you, we all have bad things. There's no one who is perfect. Everything is an evolution, and it takes time. And the bad things, it is not so good. But it is necessary. The dark is necessary. We learn in the spiritual science of the Third Testament by Martinus. Even the evil forces in the world and the dark is necessary so it can be contrast to the light. And so we can see the good and put it apart from the evil. So it is day and night. Without contrast, we cannot see. White is not white if we don't have black. So this is the principle. But how black shall it be until we reconsider the value of our life? And let's go back to what we got, a normal, good life, helping and loving each other, and not this false view on life with social distancing and a virus that is not there, only an ordinary running nose, and corona is just natural. Go back to a natural life and have no fear. Never be fearful, because those evil globalists, they live only by stealing like a vampire. They steal your energy, and your fear is their food, because then they can control and come with the solutions that you accept blindly. Let never that happen. Relax, take it easy. As Putin said, yesterday I saw a clip with Putin, not to make him a hero, but he said, don't worry, be happy. So remember that we don't worry, and we don't give after for fear. We don't give in to fear. We just don't buy that message they are trying to fill our small heads with. So that was today. Have a great time, and maybe all continue in this easy way, and take it easy, and not begin to get fearful or react on those small children who are standing and shooting all the time against us. It's just like that. God bless you. Thank you. Bye.